Katchatheevu Island becomes a political talking point ahead of the elections, particularly keeping in mind the new catchment area that the BJP is hoping it will be the southern state of Tamil Nadu. We have the first petitioner in this case, Brij Khandelwal, who had filed the petition way back in 1974. He is joining us live. Mr. Khandelwal, just for our viewers, can you please tell us why did you approach the court and what really happened then?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
Okay. I filed this petition in 1974 because there was some talk about an island, a small island, only 200 acres down south, was being donated as a gift to Sri Lanka. I didn't like the idea because I thought we have no business, no government has any business to reduce the territory of India. They can add, but they can't dilute or diminish the territory of India. That was the whole idea. And my submission was that today relations may be good with Sri Lanka, but tomorrow they could turn sour and bad, and they could become hostile, as it did happen later on in the 80s. So I was very keen about it and very concerned. And therefore I filed this petition in the Delhi High Court. The court probably issued some notices to the government, but because the 1971 external emergency was on, my fundamental rights had been suspended. And I had argued that as a secular person, I need to visit all the temples. So why should I be prevented from doing so? So of course that was not entertained. The questions that I had raised in 1974, they stand valid even today.
What was the principal submission of the then government?
The government argued that we had no locus standi in the case. We had no business, no link, no direct relationship with the Katchatheevu Island. Therefore, we should not be heard. But as a free citizen, with all my fundamental rights intact, I had every business to interfere and raise this issue. That was my submission, and I had every right to move around freely on any part of the Indian territory. And no government had any business to part away with any part of the land. That was my submission.
And what did the courts adjudicate at that point?
They probably decided that I really had no locus standi, but more importantly, because the emergency provisions were in force, I had no fundamental rights. They had been suspended. Therefore, I could not plead on that ground.
So did you follow up the case after the emergency was withdrawn, after the situation became normal?
Well, yes, I did, but not really very strongly because no government was interested. After 1977, when the emergency was lifted, Janata Party came into power, and I had friends in the Janata Party. I told them, they said, don't unnecessarily interfere. Why spoil relations between the two countries? So I also kept quiet. I said, okay, let's hope everything will go well. But my fear that time was that someday, if some hostile governments leases out this piece of land, this small territory of Katchatheevu, and if it is used for military purposes, what will happen then? That was the whole issue. So
submission in terms of what was the historical fact that you had presented before the court in your petition, sir?
No, the facts were already there. It was part of the Indian territory until 1947. It was under the Maharaja of Nagaram or whatever. So there was no dispute about the legality of the whole case. It was just the magnanimity of the Indira Gandhi government that probably forced her to take this decision. She wanted good relations with Sri Lanka, which didn't happen, unfortunately, and the Prime Minister was later lost, killed by Litte. That was the unfortunate part of it. But obviously, the government had no solid reasons to oppose my case. But then the courts were under pressure because of the emergency, and the matter was disposed of.